What a lovely day, buddy. I think we're far enough away from Terrafuel's old abandoned factory that any raiders that have followed our noise wouldn't catch us here. At least not yet. You know, I thought now's a better time than ever to test out this new autocannon. Mainly because I actually just want to fire it. Look, can you blame me? But in case you missed it, last episode we got this cannon installed on the back of the Roma. I was able to use the tools at the old factory to get it mounted and functional. Artillery, baby. I don't know if you've noticed, but over here I've set up some wooden targets in the morning, and I thought maybe, just maybe, I can shoot the autocannon at them and see how well we can hit these targets. Hey bud, what do you reckon? First off, let's get some potatoes going. With some moderately stale potatoes. Do potatoes go stale? Anyway, I set up some wooden targets on the other side of the river in order to get a feel for and properly test out this autocannon. I also propped up some tanks of what I could only assume is gasoline, in hopes to get a little explosive surprise if I can actually hit it. Alright, but I think you should come aboard. It's probably not safe here. Well, I don't think it's going to be safe anywhere, but inside the Roma is our best bet. So I picked Buddy up and plopped him on his new high chair. You'll be nice and safe there, okay? Okay, I've got the controller here. We should have some rounds in here. Yep, we got some left. These are... I gotta be careful not to use all of them, alright? Some of you keen-eyed people would have noticed this already, but I've made a little change. I've also punched out some of the panel back here, buddy. I thought we'd benefit from having a bit of glass in order to see what we're shooting at. So I engaged the cannon and took a look out the window to see where it was pointing, and evidently where it would strike. Okay, let's just see where this lands. To be quite frank, I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. Well, I spun the cannon around and aimed it down, towards the targets. Coming to think of it, I probably should have done that before I fired the first shot. But look, that's neither here nor there. Now this is more like it. After lighting the dark woods up like the 4th of July, I figured, well, it's probably not the smartest idea to stay around here because that would have attracted a lot of attention. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. Now that is artillery. Wow. Well, bud, I think that amount of noise will certainly attract attention. Let's pack up and get out of here, all right? That was a successful test, though. Let me just... Wowee! Oh, that makes me excited. I quickly grabbed our camping supplies, Buddy's chair and my sleeping bag, then made my way back aboard the Roma and into the command chair. It's time to set off. Onwards! Towards Solstice, bud. I think we're getting quite close, actually. If my memory of the map serves me well, then we've just got, one more sand desert wasteland to go. In between Solstice, you and I, buddy. As I headed into this canyon between these two peaks, I was overcome with a sense of adventure. This is the greatest journey I've ever been on in my entire life. I crawled through an old access road in the middle of the dark woods, being sure to stick on track and not stay around, as the dark woods were home to many monsters. As I found myself at the edge of the woods, the sun began to set, and I had to find somewhere to stay for the night. So I parked the Roma up on the edge of this mountain, and cooked up some dinner. The next day, it was time to climb the very mountain that I camped at the night before, which was just then, because we're watching a video that is a few seconds ago, and before I knew it, the woods were thinning out and sand was beginning to encroach in on the grass. We had made it to the final leg of our journey. Alright, buddy, I think we've reached the last desert wasteland. This actually doesn't have a name. This desert. It's fairly new. I think the sands were, well, I don't know where the sand was brought from, but there used to be a nice forest here, but it's all been covered up now, but I can see these pylons here with the big power lines, so I'm assuming we're heading the right direction. I might just chop a tree down or two and just get some basic materials, alright? The Great Desert. The one sand thing that lies in between Solstice and I was right at the beginning of it. However, before we set foot, or rather wheel, in the sand, I wanted to make sure that we were prepared. So I picked Buddy up and we went for a walk to get some resources, but that's when I saw a little something. I can just see a sign in the distance there. I think that's a bit of a giveaway as to where we're headed. What else do you think a sign's for, you idiot? Sorry, I lost my cool there for a second. I think that sign will tell us that we're heading in the right direction. So I spent the morning gathering some resources, some local growing mushrooms and some lumber, before walking Buddy around hoping that he would do his business, if you know what I mean, so that he doesn't have another incident in the Roma. Alright, Buddy, have you done your business? You know, opened up the tap, let the Alright, look, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can only hope that it has enough brain cells to feel like now's probably the time to do it, rather than on the road or while I'm cooking. And with that being said, it's time to pick some potatoes for dinner and head off into the desert, edging ever closer to Solstice. I think this desert is about 1 day's travel long, so no better time than now, bud. Well, onwards and upwards, or in our case, straight ahead. The map is a bit rubbed out towards this part of the journey, so I was hoping that these pylons would lead me right to the city. And now that I've explained my travel plan to you, it's time to do some foreshadowing. Oh yeah, you didn't think this would be easy, did you? It's hopefully going to be smooth sailing. We shouldn't run into any bandits out here. I don't know what they'll be doing out here if there is. Oh, well, I don't know. Let's see. Scrapping, surviving, bandit activities, ambushing people in earth roamers heading towards cities. I can see, yeah, there's definitely a sign here. These pylons are connected to it. Laying across the path in the desert was a wire connected to one of these pylons, and on the other end, this sign. It appeared to be providing it power to light up its lights. And what the sign said was, well, a little bit confusing and very reassuring that we were heading in the right direction. I made my way over there to take a closer look and to look a little bit closer. It's a sign. We're getting close. It's quite literally a sign. Ow. Except whoever made this sign I don't think they know how to spell. It says Solstice a wits. Look, yep, that was me. I honestly didn't even realize it until I came across it in the video. Interesting. So these lines still have power. I guess the ones in the dark woods are connected to a different source. I'll have to be careful when going over this line, but this is a good sign. If I just follow these pylons. Oh, it is blisteringly hot out here though. With the sign inspiring inspiration within me, Buddy and I set off again. I've heard that desert sandstorms can be quite dangerous and bring little to no warning before they strike. Now, I said this desert was a day's long drive, and I wanted to try and do that in one sitting. I didn't want to have to camp up overnight in case of any bandits, raiders, or, well, sandstorms, as we would have no protection from these things. But, well, that's where my luck turned. No more than 5 minutes down the path from the sign was a house, or at least a building that had been turned into a house. Whoever resided here seemed to be doing well for themselves out here in the desert. Of course, I stopped to try and say hello. Hey buddy, you stay here. Hello? Is there anyone here? Oh, wow. Buddy, I think it's... well, there's no one home. Here, come on, let's... you can take a look, come on. On first glance, it seemed to be empty, but this place had a lot of interest to me. The equipment and components scattered around outside reminded me a lot of that bandit outpost on Night 2 of our adventure with the Roma. Whoever this was collecting, I guess collecting parts from whatever they could find out in the desert. Look, we got some pistons here. Careful, buddy. Oh wow, look at you. I headed inside to do a bit of sleuthing and piece together a story. Chairs out. Stove is on. Whoever lived here seemed to leave in a hurry, and not that long ago by the looks of things as well. Bedroom door is open, candles are lit. Hang on. Help us e-build. Have a home at Solstice. This poster was pinned up in their bedroom. It was a little bit torn and scuffed, but that was definitely the city. And they're trying to rebuild. Maybe this person went to Solstice, bud. Maybe they left here and made their way to Solstice. Not long after I arrived, a sandstorm kicked up, and I was glad that we were inside. I guess we're staying here for the time being. So I looked around some more. Yeah, you don't want to be caught out there, right? Hang on, look at this, bud. This seems to be their making room. They got a gun table here. Oh, this is great. Oh wow, plenty of gunpowder. That's a scarce resource. And these machines. This survivor had a very rare setup. Everything that was needed to create bullets and artillery cartridges. He or she was prepared, or at the very least spent a lot of time out in the desert finding these components and putting them in their workshop. And oh, would you look at that, the texture is a bit broken. Ooh, that's nice. You reckon they wouldn't mind, right? But if we were to, you know, use some of their tools, I'll replenish whatever I use. I mean, look, there's some iron in here. Yeah, let me just, yeah. With nothing better to do due to the sandstorm outside, I decided to get to work. Using some of the iron this person had stashed up and a little bit of my own, I flattened it out and cut it into sheets, using that weird upside down saw thing. Here we go. Then somehow after a few bangs of the press, it magically formed into this empty cartridge. Look, don't ask me how, this is just the recipe, alright? Then the machine next to the press would fill the cartridge full of gunpowder. For the most part, this process is entirely automated, apart from me just moving the components between blocks. Why this person would need to make this much firepower though was starting to concern me. No ordinary person would have these machines in their shed, let alone their house. But of course, I decided to take advantage of it while I was here. After all, I had accidentally blown through a fair chunk of my ammunition shooting those targets this morning. And while the sandstorm outside had cleared up, I developed a bad feeling. Hey bud, I don't know, but I'm getting a weird feeling. I feel like we shouldn't be here for much longer. We've got our projectiles now. We've got our cartridges. Let's leave. I don't know. I feel like something. And you're a dog, you know. You got to trust your instincts, all right? The sooner we get out of here, the sooner we get to Solstice, like I've said. Come on. Something just felt wrong, like someone was watching me over the hill, yet I couldn't see anyone as far as the eye could see. But with a backpack full of ammunition, I decided it was time to get going again. I couldn't shake this feeling, and the only thing I could think to do was to get out of here and make our way towards Solstice. Hopefully get there before the sun sets. Who knows, maybe even the previous resident of this house is there and we can have a chat, and I can return the supplies that I used. Just up ahead, the pylons crossed over the road again and, well, it was cutting it close. All I had to do was keep these pylons in front of me and I would surely end up at Solstice. Unless, of course, a foreshadowed event was to delay my arrival, like maybe some raiders or something. Actually, speaking of, what's that up there? There's something on the hill. Hang on, he's about to see it. Hang on, bud, what's that? Like a little hut up there. Oh, hang on, bud. Was that a gunshot, bud? Yep. Buddy, we're being shot at. Okay, just as the prophecy foretold, that prophecy being me at the beginning of the video, there is a raider at the top of this hill shooting at me with an AK-47, or something of the likes. I turned away because there was no way he could catch me on foot. I just have to get out of range of his shots. Wait, what was that? Out of nowhere, a blur of green and grey came dashing through the dunes. I managed to flick the roamer into high speed and I tried to get away. But it was no matter, he modified his truck to fit a cannon on top. Wait, alright, well, it was now or never. I had to activate this cannon and shoot back. As I ran to the back of the roamer to engage the cannon, he shot one of my wheels. But I was able to keep the roamer on course and return some fire. This guy and his truck were nimble, and at first it didn't seem to be doing anything. I couldn't get much control over where it was aiming, but then I struck his engine. The raider was forced to stop for a moment and repair his truck. I used this time to escape up into the dunes and plan a trap. If I could create enough distance between him and I could park the roamer up and more accurately aim the cannon. I would be sitting duck at the top of the dune, but driving away was no option. His truck was faster. I hopped out of the roamer at the top of the dune to take a look to see if he had fixed his car, but it was too late. I wasn't stationed at the cannon, and all I had was my pistol. As he climbed the dune, following the tracks that the roamer made, I had no choice but to take some shots. I don't know whether it was my brilliant shot or just dumb sheer luck, but the front wheel fell off and he tumbled down the dune. Unfortunately, in the rollover, the ammunition caught fire and, well... I slid down the dune, shocked at what I had just witnessed. Of course, I was trying to disable his car, but I didn't exactly have this in mind. There's not much of him or his car left. It's a tragedy. He's dead. I mean, in all fairness, he was trying to kill me too, but I didn't want him to die. Alright, well, the sun's setting. I should probably get out of here. I paid respects, as I didn't know who this person was. Sure, they were a raider, but most people have a reason for their actions. Maybe they were on the hunt for food for their family, or more ammunition for their team. Either way, I had to get back to safety. It was getting dark. Buddy. It's fine, he's gone. Oh boy, the roamer's taken a bit of damage though. The armor did its job, it protected Buddy and I. And while it was looking worse for wear, I'm sure that there would be a place at Solstice where we could do some repairs. But for tonight, Buddy and I were going to stay put at the top of this dune. There was no safer place to be. We had a good view of everything around us, and all we had to do was wait for the sun to rise. But tomorrow, I was expecting to arrive at Solstice, the big day. Hopefully there would be a warm welcome to new travelers like us.